Hi, I'm Heather from Hey Booktubes, and today is paranormal romance recommendations. I already have done a paranormal romance recommendation that is not Shifter or Vampire, a Shifter video, a Vampire video, and then these are other paranormal romance books that I have read and loved that were not included in those first three videos. So, if you are looking for paranormal romance recommendations or watching this for the paranormal readathon and you want suggestions, I do have 4 videos with tons of paranormal in it. It's just the latest installment in the series. The books are available on Kindle Unlimited. It is marked in my description. And I love paranormal romance. I don't read as much of it as I would like to. There are 2 readathons coming up that I'll be participating in. The PNR readathon and the Love in the Night readathon. So if you're reading this at the end of October, early November, those readathons are going to be going on. So hopefully in the next few months, I'll have another great paranormal romance recommendation video based off of all those books I read. First, we have Sacrifice, which is Bloodline Vampires #1 by Katee Robert. If you know Katee Robert, then you know that she is the queen of smut. Her books are smutty, but she's also good at weaving a plot in there too. So our main character is a vampire, which is half human, half vampire, and she doesn't have the magic that vampires normally have. So she has no worth, really. So we open up to her going to Malachi's house because she's being given as a food source and a womb by her father. And the plan is if she has a baby with Malachi, he will kill her and keep the baby, and that will be a way to control this powerful vampire. So her dad is not a good person. He is abusive. We don't see that on page, but it is referenced. This is a reverse harem vampire romance, and there is male-male action happening, and our 3 guys are powerful vampires and she's not, and it does not end on a cliffhanger. So if you haven't read this book yet because you're worried about waiting for the second book to come out, it's obviously set up for the story to continue, but we are not left with a cliffhanger. It was a very doable, waitable, wait for the next installment ending, and I loved it. The smut is hot, the plot is good, I love the twist. Yes, mainly banging is the plot, but that's what we're here for. They are literally vampires that are going to save the world via sex, and what more do you want? Next I have Until the Sun Falls from the Sky, which is The Three #1 by Kristen Ashley. Lacey from Lacey Book Lovers read this, recommended it, and I was like, hey, I never read the second one because there's some foreshadowing in this book about how like they're really gonna go through it, and I was all stressed. So I didn't read the next one about the next couple, and she's like, yeah, it's really not bad at all. You should read it. So I am going to read the second book at some point. Leah's family has served vampires for 500 years, and she doesn't want to. She's summoned for her selection, and she has no choice. Lucian has been living under the restrictions of the Vampire Society for way too long, and he is done. He has been waiting for Leah's selection for decades. He has had his eye on her, and he is not going to let the restrictions decide what he can or can't do with her, which basically means he wants her to be his mate, and that's not legal. And it was fantastic. It was a great setup. I will definitely finish the series now that I know I'm not set up for some deep emotional heartbreak. It was super fascinating, really well done. If you are already familiar with Kristen Ashley or her style, fits right in there. I loved it. Next I have Vampire Seduction, which is Real Men of Othercross #1 by Celia Kyle and Marina Maddix. This is a breath of fresh air novella. It's funny, it's quick, it's smutty, it's lighthearted, it's entertaining. If you want a paranormal with all the doom and gloom and death, this is just a good time. It's a good quick time. Here's the first line of the synopsis. He's accused of a crime he didn't commit. She wants to get him off in more ways than one. Why? So she's a lawyer, or she's in law school, and she smells her mate, and mating is kind of understood to be instant and overwhelming, so nobody blames her when she goes to hunt down her mate. And turns out he's a defendant, and he's probably guilty. So that's a problem. I read the first couple books in the series, just really quick, fun novellas, great time. Perfect if that's what you're in the mood for. Next I have Dragon Actually, which is Dragonkin #1 by G.A. Aiken. I believe this was actually the first ever Dragon Shifter book that I read. I read the first few books in the series and then I didn't continue because we were following so many points of view at that point in time. We were following all the different couples and all the different villains and all the different rulers. I was just like, yeah, I don't want this. I just want to read about the couple that is new to this book. But this first one, delightful. Animal the Bloody is a female warrior. She's tall and she's scarred and she's strong and she's a leader and she's just more than most guys can handle. Fergus the Destroyer is a dragon, and he's actually a dragon shifter, but she doesn't know that. And it's their romance. She basically shows up on death's door right in front of him and he saves her. And that does not make her happy. But it's awesome if you want an unconventional heroine and a really funny dragon shifter family that's cute and you love all of them and you're just rooting for all of them so hard and you love like the sibling banter. It's awesome. It was really fun. Next I have Sanctuary by Alexandria House. This is a Noire Immortal story. So I kind of set myself up for failure a little bit with this book because I was desperately hoping that Alexandria House would give us an awesome, bloody, brutal African vampire romance. That's not what we got. We got an African Immortal, so I set myself up a little bit there. It's also only 70 pages long, so it's short, but it was still a lovely story. It's a second chance romance for an African Immortal. I don't know if this is something that she made up or if this is some sort of legend or myth that I'm not familiar with for paranormals, but it was cute and sweet and charming, and there's some witty parts, and of course he treats her really well. And bing 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 bonus. Yeah, that's right, you're getting 6 books with this video. I normally only do 5, so be it. I just read the first 3 books in the series last week and loved it. There's like 7 books in the series, so I didn't want to get burned out, so I did stop at 3 for now, but it's awesome. That is Gypsy Blood, which is All the Pretty Monsters #1 by Kristy Cunning. This is a reverse harem paranormal story, and we have a gypsy as our main character, and she has moved to the town where her mother died, and the gypsies of her family are ruthlessly hunted by a cult, and so it's not uncommon for them to die. Well, so she moves to this town, and it turns out her mom didn't tell her all sorts of things. And it seems like everybody knows more than she does about certain things, and nobody's telling her. They're all just talking in circles. And that doesn't get resolved in the first book. So that can be a little bit annoying. But not really. This is the first book in the story. It's slow, but still interesting. But you can see each book, the story builds and your viewpoint builds. And this is a reverse harem between our gypsy main character and a vampire, a werewolf, a sexual deviant that we don't really know what he is, paranormal, and a Van Helsing, a monster killer. So there's no smut really in this first book. We do get it. It's just fascinating, and some of the twists you can see coming and some you can't. It's really funny. There's lots of humor in it, and it's a great paranormal reverse harem if you like reverse harems. A little bit of a slow burn for me, especially. I'm not a fan of slow burn, so it's a little slower than I generally like, but well worth it. That's it. That's all of my new paranormal romance recommendations. What's your favorite paranormal romance? Do you have recommendations for me? Like I said, I have several videos which are in a playlist for paranormal romance, and I'm excited to join the readathons. This video wasn't necessarily for the readathons. I already had this planned. Looking forward to reading some paranormal romance soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.